So, a little over 2 weeks ago, I was driving home from work and I was driving in a small street. So, LA is notorious for traffic, and if you want to kind of get home faster, the best way to do it is by driving on smaller streets that run parallel to the large, busy streets. So, that's what I do. And as I was driving, I stop at an intersection. There was a stop sign there. And then after I stopped, I proceeded to carefully drive past the intersection. And on my right hand side, there was a gentleman parked in a Prius who wasn't paying attention to the traffic, and he proceeded to open his door as I drove past him. So, what do you think is going to happen? Obviously, I'm going to hit his door because he didn't watch, and it severely damaged the front end of my car. It damaged his door, although the door didn't fall off or anything, and it was 100% his fault. The first thing he did was blame me by saying, "Oh, you were talking on your phone." And I was like, "Okay, so under your logic, you looked in your rear view mirror, you saw me coming as I was talking on my phone, and you opened your door?" And he realized that that wouldn't work. It wasn't a good defense. So then he accused me of speeding, which also wasn't possible because I had just stopped at a two-way stop sign, and my car doesn't go 0 to 100 real quick. I mean, I wish it did, but it doesn't. So anyway, whatever. We went through insurance, and my car needed to be in the shop, and my car is actually currently still in the shop getting repaired. And I've been borrowing, my fiance's car. We've been dealing with one car for over 2 weeks. It's been a huge inconvenience. It's been really difficult. But the biggest inconvenience is the fact that I pay a ton of money for car insurance. I get into an accident that was not my fault, and then I have to pay a $1,000 deductible. Okay, let that sink in for a second. I did nothing wrong. I did nothing wrong. I pay my car insurance every month in full. I mean, actually, I paid all up front in the beginning of the year. Why am I paying for insurance if I get into an accident and they don't cover me the way that they should cover me? I shouldn't have to pay $1,000 for someone else's mistake, right? So it's a freaking scam. It makes me so angry that I have to, and it's like in the middle of wedding planning, it's in the middle of all these really expensive things that are happening in my life right now, and it makes me frustrated that I have to pay a deductible. So this needs to end. Like, the car insurance lobby needs to end. We need to stop allowing them to charge us deductibles if the accident was not our fault. Like, I'm willing to have a conversation if the accident is your fault, but if the accident is not my fault, if someone else causes this accident, why do I have to pay for someone else's mistake? Especially when car insurance companies make a huge profit as it is. It makes me so angry. It makes me so angry. So I want to know what some of you guys think about this. Look, $1,000 is a lot of money for anyone, but $1,000 in the middle of paying for a fucking wedding makes me so angry. Okay, it makes me so mad. Like, I thought about it the other day after we filmed the Fusion show, and I was all stressed out and overworked, and I'm like, oh my god, I'm like John and I are literally the only people on the planet who are on television and make no money from it, okay? And so I was frustrated about that, and then I'm frustrated about this deductible, and I'm like, when does life become a little fair? When? When does it become fair? Because as you get older and you become more of an adult, it becomes less and less fair. You realize that everything is just one gigantic injustice, and car insurance companies are part of that equation. Anyway, so what do you guys have to say? Walter Salazar says, another flaw we let happen, win-win for them. I know, it's a huge flaw. If the accident is not my fault, I should not have to pay a deductible. I should not have to pay because of someone else's mistake. And honestly, I want to like find the guy who made this mistake and just be like, yo, you're going to pay my deductible. It was your fault. You pay my deductible. AJ Rudis says, was there a police report? Otherwise, who's to say who's at fault? Actually, let me tell you what happened after the accident. So he opens the door, I hit the car door, and of course, I pull over immediately, and he asks me for my insurance, and I give him my insurance right away, because that's what you do. That's what the law basically obligates you to do. And then I asked him for his insurance, and he was like, no, I know the law. I go to law school. I don't have to give you my insurance. And I was like, what are you talking about? It's California. The law in this state means that you absolutely have to give me your insurance and your ID. And he's like, no, because I wasn't moving. Since I wasn't moving and I was parked, I don't have to give you my insurance. So anyway, it escalated from there. He refused to give me his information, and my car insurance company was like, no, you absolutely have to get his insurance information right away. So I called the cops, and guess what? They never showed up. So no, there's no police report. And the way that you determine whether he's at fault is all this evidence. So pictures of the scene, excuse me, the way in which my car hit his door. Since he had just started opening it, it hit in a certain way at a certain angle, so you can tell that his door wasn't fully opened and I hit it because I wasn't paying attention. There are ways to tell, and the insurance company is doing a full investigation, and from what I've heard from my insurance company, they have not found me at fault. So that's how that kind of works. Crystal Berry says, is it better to put money in an account for accidents? I lost your comment. I'm sorry, the comments are moving so quickly, I lost your comment. But just put money away, period. Put money away. I do have a coughing fit, guys. I've been sick, and let me tell you something. Stress will do a number on your body, because I don't think I'm sick because I caught a cold or anything like that. I think that I've been so stressed out that it kind of lowered my immune system, and then I got an ear infection and whatever. So I'm just trying to get over all of that. All right, what else is going on? Marco Report says, put deductibles on the list. When you and your hubby buy a house, you will be paying taxes for schools, whether you have kids or not. Is it fair that I pay more taxes for my brother? Because, okay, so let's talk about school taxes for a second. I do not mind paying taxes for schools, even though I don't have children myself. I think that that is something that leads to a better society, and it actually benefits everyone to have an educated society as opposed to, you know, a system where we only reserve education for the wealthy. I think that insurance deductibles don't really fall under that same category. So, I don't know. Maybe you disagree with me, but I think that since I took advantage of public education as a child, I think that I should give back to my community and create opportunities for other children, even if I don't have kids myself. I'm not really an individualistic person like that, so I guess we disagree on that issue. What else is going on? Your insurance company should... Damn it, you guys are commenting so quickly. Anna, I love you, but you're making yourself look silly. The deductible is the deductible that you choose when you bought your policy. No, I get that, but why should I have to pay a deductible? Why should I have to pay $1,000 because of someone else's mistake? Do you guys not understand what I'm saying? Like, if it was my fault, of course, like, I should pay, it's my fault, you guys get the point. But what's the point of a deductible when you are not the person who caused the accident? Like, do you guys not understand how unfair that is? That I have to pay $1,000 for an accident that was not my fault? Do I just sound like I'm whining and crying right now? I'm sure you guys understand and have been through the same thing. It's an injustice. It's an injustice. All right, Jerry says, I agree on education. We need an educated society. It's better for everyone as a whole. Yeah, I totally agree. Now, some people might argue that public education hasn't been great, and part of the reason why is because it's something that's been defunded and, you know, basically neglected for a long time now. And Congress doesn't prioritize it. State governments don't prioritize it. I mean, I think about the LAUSD and how incredibly effective and great it was prior to something known as Prop 13, which passed in 1978. What Prop 13 did is it limited property taxes in California to about 1% of its cash value, and that severely defunded public education. And so once you defund public education, I mean, it's hard for you to keep the quality of that education intact. And so you see the LAUSD going from being one of the top school districts in the country to one of the worst. So you guys should really look into that. Prop 13 passed in 1978. Really interesting story that we did about that a few years ago. All right. Oh, wait, this is interesting. So Sarfraz says you get it refunded once fault is determined and your insurance collects from their insurance. Is that true? If that's true, then this was a silly rant. But I gotta look into that because my understanding, based on the person that I spoke to from AAA, is that I have to pay the deductible regardless. So I don't know. Maybe his information was wrong, and so I'll do a little bit of a little bit of my own investigation to see what the truth is. Ishmael says, "Yes, you're crying. Tell Cenk Uygur to pay you more." Oh, believe me, that's happened already, and I don't know if it's ever going to yield any positive results. All right, and then finally, Caitlin says, you should live stream your wedding. That should be amazing. I would love to see your big day. You know, I thought about live streaming the wedding for our members, and I have now completely decided that no. I think one of my biggest flaws is that I share a little too much with the audience, and this year has really jaded me to the point where I don't want to open up to the audience as much as I used to. I got to keep it real. I mean, there's so much ugliness out there. There's so many evil people saying evil and terrible things, doing evil and terrible things. I think I've gotten to a point where I think I need to construct a wall. And I hate saying that, but it's the truth. I mean, even I haven't really read every single comment here, mostly because I'm afraid to. But the reality is, like, we're in a terrible year, and we're dealing with really terrible people. And the last thing I want to do is take something as special and intimate as my wedding and broadcast it to the world. So, sorry about that, guys. Alright. Oh, wow, comment went live. It did, Sarfraz. I hope I said your name correctly. I apologize for that. Cenk told her to get more members and he'll give her a raise. I don't know what it would take to get a raise at this point, but I try not to think about that because it'll make me super bitter and super bitchy during the show, so I'm going to totally ignore it. Sean says, insurance is a racket, you pay just in case. Yeah, look, I get the idea of insurance, and I have no problem with the concept of car insurance. What I have a problem with is how much you pay, how much they profit, and how you get screwed even when an accident isn't your fault. So that's my biggest issue. If an accident isn't your fault, you shouldn't get screwed over as badly as you get screwed over. Another thing to take into consideration is when you do get into an accident where it is your fault, they literally double your premium, right? They double your premium. So that's what recently happened to me. I got the letter to renew my insurance, and because of an accident that was my fault back in December of 2014, I had to pay double from what I paid last year. And again, that's like another expense, another cost, another stressful thing that I have to deal with prior to paying for a stupidly expensive wedding. So anyway, all right, guys, love you. We have a really great show prepared for you guys today. I have some fun stories. I know that it's been a pretty depressing year, but I'm trying to fit in some more fun, light stories along with the more serious stories just to kind of break up the depressing stuff. Anyway, hope you guys catch the show today. Love you, and we'll see you soon. Bye.